The liberal LA Times mocks Californians who are fleeing our state in record numbers. And the latest on why your home insurance and utility rates are spiking in California. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and here are the stories we're watching today. First, I just absolutely have to respond to an opinion piece that appears in the Los Angeles Times, the liberal, failing, bankrupt Los Angeles Times. We've been covering this on this podcast for years, that Californians are fleeing our state in record numbers. Why are they leaving? They can't afford to live here anymore, or they can't stomach living here anymore. Now, in a separate podcast, I lay out the 3 reasons why you should not flee the state of California, why you should stay with me and fight. We absolutely have a duty to stay and fight. And yes, we can save this state. It's going to take a lot of hard work. But a lot of Californians are simply giving up and fleeing the state for other places like Texas and Florida and Georgia. That was denied, by the way, by liberal newspapers like the LA Times and liberal politicians like the Democrats for years. They said, no one's fleeing. No, everyone wants to come here. They lied. We were seeing all the data, even U-Haul truck rentals, showing that, people, didn't want to rent a truck to bring it back to California, to move to California. Everyone was renting U-Hauls to leave, and U-Haul was paying people to drive them back. Anyway, we know that they were denying that people were even fleeing. So the fact that the media is now acknowledging that people are fleeing, I guess that's some progress. But they were gaslighting people for many years, saying no one's leaving. It's paradise out here. We're the most coveted place for people to go to. The U.S. Census data in 2020 smacked them with reality. When you lose a congressional seat, all right, with the reapportionment, there's no denying it. You're losing population. Anyway, so the Californians who are fleeing tell us overwhelmingly why. They can't afford to live here, number one. The schools are absolutely failing, so they don't trust the school system to provide their children with quality education. They want to go to states with better schools. Number 3, homelessness, crime and grime all over our streets. So they don't like the homelessness. They don't like the crime. Number 4, jobs are being destroyed here in the state of California. Number 5, our personal freedoms are constantly under attack by a nanny state. Those are just the top 5, reasons we've heard from Californians as to why they're fleeing the state. But into this comes the LA Times. Now, I'm not going to take you to the actual opinion piece because I'm not willing to pay for the subscription. I'm not going to fund the left. So I'm going to Flash Report, and you should check out Flash Report every day. I do. It's run by John Fleischman, a conservative activist out of Orange County. And it gives you, let me zoom out here, it gives you the top stories every day that are appearing across the state of California. Anyway, so here is the LA Times opinion piece. If you want to leave, fine, but don't insult California on the way out. Okay, are your feelings hurt, Snowflake? Are you upset that people are saying that your socialist paradise is a rotting hellhole of misery? If you want to leave, fine. Oh, thank you for giving me permission to leave your hellhole. Don't insult California on the way out. I'm sorry, but if a state has done you wrong, if a state has betrayed you, if a state has cost you, you have every right to complain on the way out the door. You have every right to warn people as to the problems that led you to make an insane decision that would have been made in previous decades. Why would anyone want to leave California? I mean, we have so many good things going for us, but now we are cursed by our government. And so who the hell is the Los Angeles Times to sit there and admonish us to keep our mouths shut? Don't warn others. Go quietly. Shut your mouth on the way out. You want to leave? Fine. The rest of us love it here. Really? Oh, you people are insane. The leftists who are ruining this state are absolutely batshit crazy when it comes to, oh, everything is fine. Oh, it's paradise. Why would anyone want to leave? Los Angeles Times is on the brink of bankruptcy. They're thankfully issuing layoff notices. Every time a liberal activist reporter loses their job, an angel gets their wings. But here they have this commentary. You want to leave? Fine. Don't insult us. I say we need to raise our voices. We need to let everyone else know that it's getting so bad out here that good people are fleeing the state. That they're saying, you know what, the good things about California are just not enough to outweigh the bad things. The LA Times wants to muzzle you. They want to censor you because they don't have a response for what you're saying. They cannot defend the failures of the California Democrats, so they want to cover them up. They can't defend the fact that we have the highest taxes in the country, the highest housing costs, the highest utility rates, the highest gas prices, highest everything, by the way. To take a look at some of the data to back that up, check out a report on the Transparency Foundation's website, thetransparencyfoundation.org. Thetransparencyfoundation.org. It is on the cost of California. We've got surging crime. As nationwide crime is going down, our crime is spiking. As homelessness is going down double digits nationwide, our homeless problem is at a crisis level, going up by double digits, and in some cities up by triple digits. 2/3 of California students fail math proficiencies. More than a majority fail reading and writing. Yet we're spending per pupil some of the highest expenditures in the country. Now, you have a right to raise your voice and warn everyone as to why these problems are so bad that they caused you potentially to leave. Let's reject the absurd censorship of the LA Times. Let's mock them for wanting to tell people to shut up on their way out the door. Let's talk about some of the other stories we're tracking today. Here's in the San Diego Union Tribune. There's good news and bad news on electric rates for San Diego Community Power customers. Now, what's San Diego Community Power? Longtime viewers of this podcast know we've been railing against the left-wing plot in California to basically shut down private utilities and take over, have government take over utilities. The same government that screwed up your water rates, the same government that can't issue unemployment benefits properly without billions of dollars in fraud. Yeah, that same government thinks it's better than the private sector to provide you with electricity. Lights out, baby. The reason why they're doing it is twofold. Number one, they want to get more of your money. They want to raise your rates and take more of your money through raising utility rates, because people don't see that as a tax. It's just, oh, well, it's utility, it's electricity. I need it, But government always is going to cost more because it takes a massive chunk. Also, they're doing this to take over the utilities so that they're force feeding you very expensive Green New Deal forms of power like solar and wind versus the reliable, clean natural gas power that's a lot cheaper than these other renewables. That's why the government takeover is happening of our electricity services. And they are promising people lower rates, but it's simply not true. And so here it says here, good news and bad news. They say that we're going to have a reduction of 17.7% in the government-run utility program. But even SDG&E is lowering their rates, because it says here that even with that 17.7% reduction, the people who are conned into the government utility program are still paying more. We have a whole report on this issue, by the way, on the website, thetransparencyfoundation.org. Same report, the same website that has the report on the cost of living in California also has a report on CCAs. And it's called Community Choice Aggregation. This is the government takeover of utilities. When you look at that report, it shows that these utilities do nothing but add an added layer of government bureaucracy to electricity. The power lines are maintained by the private utility. The distribution network is maintained by the private utility. And even the power is purchased and delivered by the private utility. What does government do? Adds a markup. Seriously, it adds a markup and restricts the type of power that you can buy. And that's why you will always pay more for your electricity than with the private sector if you go with the government program. And the Union Tribune here is lying. They're gaslighting, because they should be saying, yeah, you were promised with this switchover that you'd save money, but no, you're not saving money compared to SDG&E, the private utility company. Now, if you want to know why our rates are 68% higher than the national average, check out that same website, thetransparencyfoundation.org. They've got a report about the $4.5 billion in hidden California state taxes and fees on all utility rates, whether it's private or public. And the fact that the Green New Deal regulations and mandates forcing us out of, again, reliable, clean, affordable natural gas supplies, that they're forcing us into the vanity forms of power that's much more expensive. That's why our rates are so much higher than the national average. Interesting correction that they put over here. An earlier version of this story incorrectly said that for a few dollars per month, SDG&E offers customers a program that is sourced 100% from renewables. SDG&E no longer offer the program, probably because nobody wanted it. I mean, homeowners are just being crushed by the cost of living. The only people who think, oh, people want to choose the Green New Deal, they don't. They want to choose savings. They're rational. They're smart. That's why government is taking over your utility company. And by the next 5 years, I guarantee private utilities will be out of business in California. Guaranteed. That's what's happening. The left-wing politicians are slowly taking over these systems and not even opting you in, forcing you in to a government-run utility program. So keep an eye on this. This coverage in the newspaper is gaslighting. It's not really giving you the honest take on what's happening. Those of you who watch this podcast know that I've covered the spike in insurance rates. A lot of customers in California have lost their homeowners insurance. It's been dropped by providers like State Farm and Allstate as they flee the state of California. If you're lucky, you still have insurance, but your insurance rates are astronomically higher than they used to be. Homeowners associations have seen massive spikes in their insurance coverage for their homeowners association by a factor of 20 times higher in just 1 year. And some of the HOAs in California have taken the alarming step of having to assess their homeowners a special assessment of thousands of dollars just to pay the extra insurance premium for their community. The politicians and the media blame it on climate change. They say, oh, because of more fires and more floods and more damage because of climate change, insurers have had more losses. And as a result, the premiums that they charged for the last several years haven't kept up with the losses because of climate change. They're lying to you. Climate change has not produced more fires or more floods. The data just simply does not support that at all. What we do see is a massive spike in replacement costs. So if you have 10 fires this year, and there were 10 fires 5 years ago, climate change did not cause increased losses. You had the same number of fires. But if the cost of rebuilding a home is astronomically higher than it was 5 or 10 years ago, the premiums may not have accounted for that inflation. Are you following me? You know where this is headed, right? The smart ones out there know exactly where we're going here. We got the receipts. Your insurance costs are higher, and insurers are fleeing the state of California because of this. Here's the headline in the Union Tribune. California home repair costs jumped 67% in a decade. That's an astonishing number. And that's a decade worth of increase. If you look at the past 5 years, most of the increase, or past 4 years since COVID, most of the increase has happened since then. We're talking about Biden's inflation. We're talking about socialism fueling Venezuela-style inflation hikes. And the insurers out there did not anticipate that level of construction and repair inflation when they set their insurance rates. So now they're bleeding billions of dollars of losses. And obviously in an insurance pool, you have to collect premiums to cover your losses. It's not climate change, my friends. It's our politicians. The same sucker punch to your home budget from inflation is impacting insurers, and then they are then, of course, in a sick cycle, passing on those increased costs in the form of higher premiums or just simply leaving the market altogether and dropping you. Look, at Reform California, we bring you these stories and we bring you the story behind the story with this show every day at 5 o'clock. So remember, like and subscribe to this video. Smash that notification button so that you get notified when we post our show every day at 5 o'clock. Share this video and like the video so that your friends know about it. We want to break through the censorship of the liberal media. And I want to encourage you to join our fight. Go to reformcalifornia.org. Our top stories are always on that site. You can share them. We also have our campaigns on that site that you can join and support as we fight to bring sanity back to California. Remember, we're coming up to an election here, the March primary. So please check out our voter guide. We endorse candidates for almost every seat on the ballot. We sort out the good candidates from the bad candidates. We even get all the way down to school board, judge, city attorney, city council. Also, check out our plain English voter guide for ballot measures. We translate the deceptive titles that the politicians have put on the ballot so that you know what you're voting on. Also, please help us do this work on your behalf. We're fighting on your behalf to bring you good news every day at 5 o'clock that the liberal media won't bring you. And we're working hard to make a difference in these campaigns to elect better leaders, to stop bad ballot measures, to save you from tax increases. Chip in a contribution to that effort. We're fully funded, or we're not fully funded. We are completely funded. All right. We need more funding, but we are completely supported by small dollar donors from the grassroots like you. So chip in a contribution at reformcalifornia.org. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.